Audio problems. Joy, joy, joy. Thanks, James. I have no idea how I missed that. So you missed all my wonderful talking. That's probably for the best. That's thrown me completely. Oh, joy. So, have to recap it all. Which does say something about the chat on Twitch is not working. Or it's delayed and I don't understand how Twitch works, which is equally possible. Can you hear me now? That is a question. I see Ozzy the Dev has said something, so oh yeah, your chat is working. Awesome, that's good news. But can you hear me? Still not sure. So if I was extremely organised, hey, Asgrim can hear me. That's good news. If I was extremely organised, I would have a way to find out if I was if I was being heard or not. So I clearly need to up my audio game. So you saw a whole load of stuff happen on screen, which was completely meaningless to you. So a quick recap. Rodeo is an app I've written. It's a simple CLI app written in Go that will upload files to the Flickr. Because I'm a photographer, I like Flickr, that's where my files go. So it's not very complicated. Let's go back to iTerm. And all you do is go run main.go, view config, and it'll display the config for Rodeo, assuming it works. Or it'll throw a syntax error, because clearly I'm still working on it. So the command line, sorry, the one that I've got actually sort of in production on my machine is obviously called Rodeo, and you type upload, and then you type the file you want to upload, so tilde/downloads_export RKA something. There's a file, .jpg. So now it will upload that file. And feature number one, which is this one here, issue number one. Issue number one of Rodeo is not as cool as issue number one for Ubuntu, for instance. But hey, what can you do? We can't all be Mark Shuttleworth, and we haven't all gone to space either. And I apologise for the sound of the lawn mowing outside. It's a UK, it's a sunny day. Obviously, all my neighbours are mowing the lawn and stuff like that. So issue number one for Rodeo is let's keep track of the photo IDs. So if I've uploaded this file already, I probably don't want it uploaded a second time. So the way to prevent that is to keep track of it. Hey, the audio is awesome. Asgrim tells me that they can't hear the mowing, which means that I did set the noise suppression correctly in OBS, which, to be fair, I have to do. This setup here is a MacBook Pro from 2013, so it's getting on a little bit, and as you can imagine, its fans are going like the clappers today because it's fairly warm in here. It's 28 degrees in this room, and you're going to be getting lots of noise from the fans. Nobody wants to hear that, so I turned on some noise suppression, and clearly it works for the lawnmower too. So I'm going to upload this file to Flickr. I don't want to upload a second time. Problem there is that Flickr doesn't keep the original file name. So how do I know I've already uploaded it? I can't query the API for the file name. That makes no sense. And the way I thought I'd do it was store it to a file on disk. So the idea being that in the downloads folder, so if we go to downloads, _export ls-la, we create this .rodeo uploaded files.json file that we can then use to store this information. So if I cat it, you can see it keeps the file name we've uploaded followed by the Flickr ID. And then the idea is that I can put in a message saying, hey, this file's already been uploaded. Here's a link to it on Flickr so you can go and see what you last uploaded with this file name. And that's awesome. What I'm not sure about is I'm storing it into the export folder. This is where the file was uploaded from. So if I was to export this same file again and put it in, say, downloads, then Rodeo wouldn't know it had already been uploaded. And then it depends on workflow. And I'm not sure which workflow I wouldn't, so I thought I'll make it a config option. What we could do is store that file in .config, well, specifically .config/rodeo, because the .config folder, I think it comes from Linux, but it's quite a convenient folder for storing stuff. So if you go to .config and type ls, you'll see that there's a whole load of folders and files in there. So we've got all the command line tools of storing stuff into .config. So I've created a .rodeo folder, and that's where I'm going to keep my stuff. So cd rodeo ls-l, and at the moment we've just got rodeo.yaml, which is the YAML file for the various config stuff that Rodeo needs to know about. So if we look at that file, I think we'll do rodeo.yaml. I've added new config setting right at the bottom when it wakes up. God, my computer is so slow today. There we go, Shift G, down the bottom. Store uploaded files in image directory. I quite like very explicit names for my configs, and then I go set it to true, which means that it's going to store the uploaded file in the uploaded JSON file, like the list, into the export folder. But if I was to set this to false, like that, then I want it to store it locally into my globally rather, into my .config folder. So that's the plan. We'll see what happens. So start with it there. So to do that, we did the work in the config folder. So the config folder, we now have an upload struct, and the upload struct maps directly to the upload section of the config YAML file. Actually, let's cap that so I can keep it on screen. So you see we've got this upload section of my YAML file that maps to this upload structure in my config.go file, and then I've got set date posted and store uploaded files in image directory as my two properties of my upload structure, and then mapped to the underscore separated properties within the YAML file. I could save that mapping by using this Pascal case version here in my YAML file, but I don't know, I quite like YAML files to be lowercase. I don't know, it just feels better for a config file. Suppose I'm showing my age somewhere there, but camel case is slightly more complicated for me to remember, whereas snake case underscore separated makes a lot more sense to me for this format, for the YAML format. So we do the mapping here, and it's fairly easy, just an extra string literal on the structure. So I've got store image directory. The last thing we were doing yesterday was up in our command, which is here, we were decoding it somewhere. Oh, we weren't. That was for force upload. So what were we doing? There is definitely a problem related to me remembering where I got to between days. Oh, that's right, yes. Because we don't have to, it's a config. So what we can do, store, Command F, store. God, it's going to be slow. S-T-O-R-E, store. What's the name of it? Store uploaded. There it is. Store uploaded files in image directory. It's going to be a new variable parameter into the record upload function. Yeah, so here we have the record upload function. Takes the file name, takes the photo ID, and now it takes the store images in directory. So record upload is used up here somewhere. There it is. So now we need to pass in the config value here, which is going to be config dot upload dot. Now why is that not auto completing? Oh, it's just slow. There, store image upload directory. And now Goland is happy. That's why the underscores disappeared. And we're passing in where we're going to store it. So if I go back to record upload, store upload files and image directory is a Boolean, and that will set what the directory is going to be. So we're going to need to define the directory as a variable, I think. My Go's not too good, so you're going to see me make lots of mistakes now. var. Or I'm going to get terribly frustrated and have to reboot this computer. Var directory. Not an equals, it's a string. You can see it very slowly thinking about what I'm doing. String. There we go. So now I have to find my variable directory, because now I'm going to do an if store uploaded files in image directory, brace, set the directory to the file path of this file name, like that. And it's not happy about me using colon equals there because we've already defined directory above. So I can get rid of the colon, and that should get rid of that squiggly line. There we go. And if we're not, then we're going to have to do something else. Awesome. ELSE. This computer doing more work than it should be. Doesn't seem to be. ELSE. Else. Brace. And then we're going to set the directory to something else, which is roughly ~.config/rodeo. Rodeo. Because we don't really want to hard code it like that, because we've already got that defined somewhere. Where is it defined? It's defined really early, so it's probably in root.go or something like that. I think we defined it here, in Viper. So Viper, we've set the config path. Viper looks like a global package for this sort of stuff. So I reckon I can probably use it directly. It's terrible from a DI point of view. But we can probably do something like, if we can do Viper, VIPER dot. So I go there we go. Oh, look at that. Get. Ah, no, there is no get config path. There's a set config path. There's an What was it? Add config path. So what does that config path do? Add config path adds it to the config paths. Maybe we can't. Maybe there isn't a get config path. Doesn't look like there is. Config. No, looking through that list of available functions, there isn't a config path. So that idea goes out the window. Let's not do it like that then. So we can't use Viper. So let's take that out again. So we're not going to be using Viper here. Right, but we've found the home directory by using this thing called homedir.dir. So we could probably use that. So I could probably take this code, refactor it a bit more neatly and drop it somewhere useful and then use it somewhere else. Yeah, let's do that. We'll use our internal directory and we'll create a homedir.go in there. You see the beach ball computer is definitely unhappy today. Let's create a new file, go file, empty file called homedir.go. And it's going to be a package internal func home dir, and this is going to return the home directory, so it's going to return a string like that. And then we're going to lift all this code from here and put it in here. Find the home directory. Actually, no, we don't call it home directory. It's going to be the config directory. Config dir, capital D. Ooh, the Wacom tablet's unhappy too. My entire computer is unhappy today. It's not letting me clear that dialog. Go over there out of the way. Right, so that finds the home directory. Now we can set the return home plus tilde slash config dot config Rodeo. So that's going to return me the config directory. So in root.dir, I can get rid of that code there. And this is now internal.config dir. There we go. So at the top you'll see here it's brought in the internal package, and we no longer need the home directory package because that's now done for us. This doesn't look very well ordered. I think that should be like that. That order looks better. Okay, so now we've refactored this to set the config directory into the config path. In our upload.go, we can use that here to be config directory. So I don't need to fully qualify it in upload.go with that internal, because if you look at the top here, the import for the internal package is got this full stop in front of it, and the full stop means bring it into this package as if it was a member. All the functions within internal were direct members of this package. Got to be a bit careful with naming conflicts, but I'm pretty confident that I know what's going on in internal, so pretty happy with that. Not sure I've named it correctly though, because config directory, it's a bit imperative. Maybe it should be called get config directory. I don't know. Well, we'll leave it as config directory for now. So having made those changes, and with the store config set to true, nothing should change. So what I should be able to do now, here, let's pick that first one here. I should be able to do go run main.go, upload that file which is already in my folder, already been uploaded, so it should tell us we're not allowed to do it. I reckon it's going to happen. So it's we're in a way to compile the function, so compile the application. It's throwing an error. Config file Rodeo not found. Oh, we forgot /. Users rob /. That tilde's wrong there. It should be /users /rob /.config. Yeah, that tilde was a mistake. Let's try again. Let's try that. If I made this window slightly bigger. There we go. This image has already been uploaded to Flickr because it found the Rodeo uploaded files.json that lives inside the export folder. So now let's change it to the other way around. Let's change that setting. More wearing and clicking as Vim thinks about starting. And let's change that to false, like that. Cut it again, check it's changed. There we go. So now it's not going to store the uploaded files into the image directory. It will store them into the global configuration. So let's try that. Hey, Spabby's woken up in chat. Hey, Spabby. Spabby's got a nice little crown next to his name. I suspect that means something important because he's an expert at all this stuff. So let's try that again now. Because the config setting is the other way around, it's not going to think that the file's already been uploaded to Flickr, so it's going to upload it again. So when I run it this time, we'll expect it to upload, let's face it, a pretty horrible photo of me up to Flickr. And then I'll have to delete it again. Again, wearing and clicking. I really should reboot my computer. Oh no, look at that. This image has already been uploaded to Flickr. That was unexpected. Because if we look in the pwd, just check we're in the right folder. wd, ls, ls minus l, ls minus la. Yeah, there's definitely not that file there. Something went wrong. What do we do when something goes wrong? We debug it. And how do we debug it if we're professionals? We use a step debugger. Or we just dump straight to screen. Let's use a step debugger. How do we do a step debugger? We use this thing up here. Edit configurations. One of the nice things about using all the JetBrains tools is that once you've learned how to do it in one of them, the same basic knowledge transfers over to the others. So here's where we're doing. This is where we set up a configuration for our run/debug. So we're going to compile main.go, and after it's built, we're going to run it. Our working directory is projects go rodeo, and then the program arguments when we run it is going to be upload. I don't want the force in there this time. Upload and then my image file, and hopefully that's the right image file. Let's double check that though, because we don't want to screw this up. So here we are. The file we're trying to upload is RKA 751244134 image 0248-web. Yeah, that's the same file name. So now I can hit apply on that. Hit OK. Set a breakpoint here. Command F8 to do that, and then I can run it. To run it in debug mode on my system is Control D. So now you can see down in the footer here, it's compiling it. Words and clicks. And hopefully it'll finish compiling soon. If ever I had a need for an ARM Mac, today's that day. Think how much faster it would be if I was using those ARM processors. Still compiling. Oh, now it's running. And it sounds like dinner's ready, so annoyingly, I'm going to have to stop the stream here because upsetting my family is really low on my list compared to upsetting people on the stream. So I'm going to stop here and we'll have to pick this up later.